doesn't mind do this.
Okay, so
Ciara, tell me this.
Yeah.
How are we going to approach this fear topic?
well, it's on now.
How do we move her off? Oh, she goes down the middle.
Yeah.
Is your thing on silent? And what about the foot? Oh, the foot's covered.
The foot's covered. We're live now, by the way.
You're kidding me.
No, I pressed live. I said we're going to hit live.
Seriously.
There.
There it goes. Whoops, there it is.
Oh my god. That's so funny. Hang on. Oh, I know.
Just tighten her at the back.
Just tighten her at the back, huh?
Okay. That laugh does not make it sound good.
There. We've been live for at least a minute now.
No, you're kidding me.
Yeah, I pressed the blue button.
Yeah, but did they hear our conversation beforehand?
No, not
Did
that
you guys
part.
hear it?
I'm so glad they did.
Oh my
Robes
goodness
and all
me.
that jazz.
Oh
My
yeah,
hair's
so-
getting so long. I love
I
it.
know, it's a nice colour too.
Thanks. I put some blonde in the top for the
Oh yeah, for the
Fashion
fashion show.
because I was like a badger.
Okay, let's talk about fear.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay,
So
fear.
Ciara,
Hi everyone.
hi. You were modelling recently.
Yeah, we don't need to go down that route. We're not going into that topic.
So
Move off that.
okay. Okay, right.
Because I have something to tell you afterwards.
That's actually the third time you've done that.
What?
We've been live and you said to me, I have something to talk to you about. After.
Well, sometimes, you know.
Okay, that noise
Something
is Ciara's
checks out.
radiator. Right, we're going to talk about fear. Very interesting topic. It seems to be in my life quite a bit at the moment.
Interesting. Yes.
Want to tell you about some of my fear?
Yeah, do.
So, we were coming back from our holidays on Saturday, and I don't really like flying too much. Any bit of turbulence scares the bejesus out of me. And we were in the air, and then all of a sudden the plane goes whoop, there it is. And I did that a few times. I'm like, oh my gosh, right? And then our heads were like bopping back and over, right? I actually had this vision in my mind, like, was it snakes in the plane where like the gas
Oh,
mask,
yeah.
where the mask dropped down, and I'm like, oh my god. And like, I wouldn't mind, like, but I actually think to myself, I should look at what they're doing about what you do with the vest and everything else, right? And I just think,
Have you never?
What?
Do you never watch them?
Well, I watched them a few times, so I just kind of think, sure, look, it's the same thing again, do you know? And then when you have kids, then you want to watch them a bit more, so that you definitely know. But anyways, right? It's one thing watching them, it's another thing needing to use the goddamn things. Like, Ciara, like, I suppose when you're on a train, right? On a train, you can't see what's ahead of you. And for some reason, I think because it's a one-way track, nothing's going to come the other way, so it's kind of safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have too much fear, nor do I worry too much about the speed, unless it's like really bad snow or bad frost, and I think, how is it going to stop, right? In a car, I kind of think I'm in control a bit because I can see what's going on the road, right? Obviously, you get things that come on the road that surprise you or whatever. Bad drivers and all that, right? Because I'm not a bad driver. Anyways, and but airplanes, okay, so you can't see what's going on, and you are way above the clouds, like, you know, even anything above a fucking house, you know, you could kill yourself, right?
Okay.
So I'm on the plane, and I try to tell myself, don't worry, and I kind of get some psychic energy sometimes. So for some reason, I don't know why, but a lady that I know that had passed, I don't know why, but I felt one time on the plane that she was really there with me, and she was like, oh, it's going to be okay and everything's fine. So I often think about her now when I'm flying and feel fairly safe, except for this time. Oh my God, it was so scary. Like, Ciara, it went on for about 10 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, okay. And I'm looking around seeing, is anybody else panicking, like, you know, or is it just me or whatever? And there's a guy, like, who's got grey hair, like, obviously older than me, and he's holding on the seat, and he's like this. And then there's like young kids behind me, right? And there's like a little boy, and I'd say he's about 9. He's gone white now at this stage, right? So he's closing his eyes, and his friend is giving him a Coke. Why would you give him a Coke? And
Any
Coca-Cola,
excuse?
that is, right? And then like there was another person going, woo! And I was like, oh my God, right? Because I'm thinking now, oh my God, like, and I really got this overwhelming feeling like, oh my God, I said to Amy, oh, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel safe to me. Oh, it just doesn't feel right. I'm like, oh my God. And I could feel myself building up, like, oh my God. And I hold on the seat, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, we try to be brave in front of your kids, right? I'm sorry that went out the window. They were on my phone and Damien's phone, which you don't usually have, and like they're playing away on the phone. They're like roaring laughing at this. I'm like trying to like get into their energy field of like, oh yeah. And Damien's like, just look what the kids are doing on the phone. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, all right, okay. And then they're like, Mommy, why are you scared? I'm like, I'm not scared. I'm okay. And they're like, Mommy, just be brave. And I was like, okay. And then like I'm here like ringing the bell for the nurse, right? Ringing the bell. And then your man comes down and he's like, are you okay? I'm like, oh my God, are we going to be okay? Is everything going to be alright? Like, is it going to be okay? And he's like, yeah, it's going to be okay. And I was like, no, seriously, have you been in this position before? Like, and I was thinking to myself, don't be fucking lying to me. Like, just tell me the truth. And I'm like, we're going to be okay. So we're going to be okay. I said, have you had this turbulence before? And he's like, yeah, we have. I said, no, you're just lying to me. I said, honestly, just have you had this turbulence before? Like, what did I think he was going to say? Like, oh no, we haven't.
No, this is our first time and we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, no. And then he's like, Thelma, we're going to be okay. Thelma. He's like, we're going to be okay. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. And then it's like, oh my God. And then James like rubbed my hand, but Thelma, it's okay, and just breathe, right? So then what comes to my mind is, breathe in for 4, hold it for 10, breathe out for 12, right? I don't know if you've heard of that technique before. I can't remember who came up with it, but anyway. So this. And then all of a sudden, right, you know this whole tapping thing that you're meant to do, which I've never done before. I think, really, does it work? I don't know why it happened. I'm like this, flat out go. Looking around the airplane going, is there anybody else that's like fucking freaking out here? Like, the fear was so real here. I was like, thinking like 9/11, and I'm like thinking, at what point, like, does the shit hit the fan where this gets seriously so much worse? Like, you know, how much more fear could I feel if I felt it going straight down? Like, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, like, I can't even tell you the stuff going on in my head, right? Then it calms down. But see, the thing about it is, it's like almost as if the airplane is trying to go at full throttle and there's like resistant bands on the wings of the airplane pulling it back. So you know there's a resistance. You can feel it in the plane, and he's like driving it forward in these clouds and it's going to shake like this. And I'm like, oh my God. Then Joe looks out the window and he's like, oh look, the wing is moving up and down. Like, oh yeah, close that window. Okay, breathe. And I could see all the clouds and the fog and everything else. And the next thing it stops. It's like, okay. And then one more time, then it goes like this, like, oh my God, this shit can't be happening again. And then when things kind of calmed down, I said to Moses, you know, you need to pray to God, and like he's going to keep you safe. And he's like, Mom, I am God, right?
Good
I don't know whether to laugh or to what to think. And I was thinking, like, okay, so at that age they don't have ego. Like, he's only 6. They don't have ego. They don't know. Well, they don't know how to lie. But like, where did they come up with that concept? And why would he have said that in the moment? He said so calm. He just looked up and he goes, I am God. And then he just kind of went back down again. I was like, I take a break on. Oh my God, okay, where'd that come out of? That's so strange. Why did he say that? And then it kind of distracted me for a moment. But thankfully after that, not because he just said that, right? But it actually stopped. I swear to God, it took me about maybe half an hour to really feel my feet on the ground and be so thankful that I was home. It was frightening. And I'd said to Damien, did you ever experience that before? He said, I experienced worse, but for a short period of time, because that did go on for a long time. And then your man came back down the aerostess and said to me, how are you now? And I said, okay, I'm grand now, I just need to get on the ground. And he told me like it's going to take 20 minutes, like I think it was an hour and 20 minutes, right? It's like when you're having a baby and they're saying like, oh yeah, in 20 minutes I'll be all over. Like that's like 2 hours later, going, okay, when's it coming over? Do you know, but and I said, have you ever experienced something so bad? And he goes, yes. He said, but look, we're trained and we can't look like we've got fear in our eyes. And he goes, because obviously then you guys panic. But no, I have had worse. And I was like, well, I'm sure that makes me feel better or worse now. Okay. And we got on the ground and like,
and was it just really bad weather that you went through?
Yeah, because they see we're coming into Ireland, and Ireland had 6 yellow warnings for bad weather. So I just think there were pockets of something, whatever happens up in those clouds. But Jesus Christ,
turbulence, baby.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Like I would just imagine like what happens if a wing comes off, or what happens if the back of the airplane comes off, and who's in the back? We are. But there was something inside me telling me like that my time isn't up yet. But and sometimes when I get those feelings, I think, okay, Thelma, don't panic too much because your time isn't up yet. Like I really get this knowing that my time isn't up yet. But I tell you one thing, that knowing and the fear, oh, they were like this. It was like 50-50 or call a friend. Do you know what I mean?
Were the boys scared?
No, they were like playing their things. Like
didn't even notice.
No, because they're not conditioned and they don't know these things happen necessarily. Do you know what I mean? They don't watch the fucking TV or snakes on a plane or any of these kind of things.
Yeah, they're clever.
Do you know? Clever, yeah. So
yeah, that's
my fear. So do you want to talk about one of your fears? Or
okay, so your fear is planes.
Well, in that moment, yeah. Okay. I have lots of fears, but that one,
yeah. Yeah, I find it a really interesting topic and something that is
for want of a better word, very juicy when people get into it, because there's a great description of fear. So if you're looking at it as what the letters mean, so it's feel everything and run, or face everything and rise. And I suppose from our backgrounds and from our childhoods, we're used to facing everything and just rising, because we didn't have any other choices or any other options. It was just the thing that you did. So no matter what happened, you just got back up and you dusted yourself off and you had a laugh about it, and on you went. And we had more than one laugh about it. In fact,
We might have laughed through all our tears.
through it all, yeah. And most people thought it was really weird, and they would think that, oh my God, why are you laughing at something that's so strange? And we'd often say, well, because we've been through it. And so when you've been through it, you can laugh about it, because it's a great way to get over it.
Because I know this one person that was at our wedding, and he said, Jesus Christ, he said to myself and my sister, Jesus Christ, he said, why didn't anybody tell me to cut, because he was in like the limelight of our wedding, why didn't anybody tell me to cut my hair? I look like a fucking paedophile. And I said, now, I thought it was funny, right, because I've been through this in my life, like with not pedophiles. And I said, I actually, like, I was totally sarcastic, and my sister knew this. I was like, I actually cannot believe that you said that. And he's like, what? I said, I can't believe that you brought up paedophilia in front of me and Nicola. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Don't you know our pals? Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that, and everything else. And myself and Nicola wet ourselves laughing, and he's like, that's not even fucking funny, like.
It is.
Like, not any word of that funny, like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know? And so it's that kind of humour that kind of get us through things, because we're out the other side and we would think that we've got an awful lot of work done ourselves, or have, you know, worked through a lot of stuff to be able to rise through the other side. But certainly that those kind of jokes are not funny for somebody who has experienced it and not spoke about it, or who've experienced it and not dealt with it.
But if they want to hang around with us, then we'll help them to see the funny side, so that's fine. Yeah, my fears would usually be around Josh. Because he was premature and we've been together all the time, so when he's away and I know that he can't contact me, I always get nervous or worried about the things that he's going through, because he has his own little issues that he has to deal with stuff that's going on in his life that I don't have any control over when he's not with me. So for me, it's normally just Josh related. Obviously the usual fears, like big giant hairy spiders climbing up the row wall, I'm not here for that. And sharks, when I overthink things, and myself and Josh watch shark movies all the time, which of course makes it worse, but when I overthink it and I get in the water, I'm like, can't feel the bottom.
See, it's not
Sharks.
just it. I said to you, snakes in the plane, airplanes, you watch sharks.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like we do an awful lot of like positive thinking and go to those kind of workshops. And so that's why it's so true what they say, that we shouldn't be consciously or subconsciously programming our brains, that we realise or not, through media, television, newspapers, listen to things and all the rest, because it does have an impact. It does go in there.
It does. And I suppose the way to get around that is that we all have choice. So when we're watching something like, we'll say Jaws, and you know what's happening and you know what's coming and you know that the shark's about to eat whoever, that you have a rational, logical mind, so that when you get into the water, you know this is not Jaws, there are no sharks, I'm fine. Same in the plane. You watch snakes on the plane, you see what happens, you get in the plane, the logical, rational mind is, there are going to be no snakes on this plane. You know, it's the logical brain that should be allowed to take over, but a lot of the time it doesn't. A lot of the time the fear takes over. And the fear is the chaos. The fear is the lack of, and the unknown, and the panic and the stuff that you've hidden and buried.
And the lack of control, I think, would be a major thing, because if I was flying the airplane, I'd be so distracted or so immensely focused on, I'm going to get this airplane through this, that even if there was a struggle, I'm in control. So I think it's like the not being in control. Somebody else is in control of you or your life.
Yeah, that can be a big one. Fear of not being in control is a massive one.
Yeah.
Massive one. I would have had that for a long time, probably until about maybe 7 or 8 years ago. And I would have had panic attacks in the car when other people were driving. Oh my God, I was terrible. And that's exactly what it was. It was fear of not being in control, because I wasn't driving the car. Now I'm fine. Now everything is grand. I've been in the car with plenty of people and I don't stress and I don't worry, because I know my logical mind and my rational mind have taken over. And first of all, the person I'm with will be a good driver. Whether they are or not, it doesn't matter. And if
It does matter.
if we crash, then there's nothing I can do about it anyway. So there's no
Yeah.
point in worrying, and there's no point in being afraid. Because what I found with fear is the more you fear something, the
Yeah.
more that you limit your amount of space for joy and happiness.
Mm.
So when you're in a fear-based mindset, there's no space for any good stuff. There's just fear. And fear is such a big, massive,
Monster.
limiting emotion that it just takes over from everything else. So suddenly you can't enjoy something. You can't see the good side. You can't, because you're allowing that fear to take over.
Yeah.
So when we get rid of it and quieten it and let that logical mind take over, we get to experience all the joy and the happiness and the fun stuff.
Because they say
Basically
what you
being like
resist.
kids.
They say what you resist persists.
Yeah.
So the more you resist it, the more it's going to come up. So to try and work on it in a safe environment. Like say you're not in control of, say, even at work, your boss is in control at the end of the day. So that is a smaller scale of not being in control. And so to meet yourself in your struggles of whatever it is, so if it's not being in control, in smaller environmental groups, like so maybe if you're part of teamwork and you're not in control of it, then notice how you are in that, because it's a safe enough environment really, and work on that and see how you can process it and go beyond it, and then set up the next task and the next one, so that you eventually can transcend fear. So I suppose it's to set up realistic goals that you can set yourself up for success.
Yeah.
So smaller ones that you overcome and you've realized that's okay, and then the next one. Whereas if you try to take on like a really big one, like mine would be trying to get rid of anxiety. So trying to get rid of anxiety is so huge, you know, and trying to get rid of the fear around that is so huge. So if I can set myself up for success, that I can work on my smaller fears and notice that that's okay. And actually on holidays we did that. We went up on a ride, and I hate going on the flecking rides, right? And it was like a water slide, and some of it was enclosed, and I don't like that. And they kind of twist around. And I think maybe when you have kids, for me anyways, I'm more fearful now of trying things that are more out there, because I want to be alive and safe for my kids, right? And so Jonah, my youngest, is fearless, and I can learn a lot from him. So he's like, oh yeah, that's grand, I can do this. So we're going up all these steps, and I'm afraid of heights, right? So I get to the top. I find myself on the second staircase from the top going, okay, don't look down, don't look to the side, don't let the kids know you're scared. Okay, you can do this, right? And they're like running up ahead of me. Okay, this is okay, I can do this, right? And so Jonah gets in, and off he goes, right? And then Moses hanging on to the side, like looking up there, going, oh my God, I can't do this. And he's like screaming, crying with the fear, like that he cannot do it, and he's so afraid. And so I find myself like going down on my knees and saying to him everything I wish I could tell myself.
Okay.
So I'm like saying to myself, this is a really good lesson, because I don't want to do this, but I want them to experience it. I don't think it'll be that bad. And it's a small little hurdle that we can go over, so a small fear that we can get over, and we can be good teachers for each other, right? So I'm saying to Moses, you got to meet yourself in the fear. And I know people might think this is funny to talk to kids this way, but it's only foreign to kids and to other people if they don't use this language. Saying to them like an ambulance or bigger words like that is foreign to them if you don't use them. So I speak to my kids like this. So I was like, Moses, you got to meet yourself in the fear, and I know you might feel this is very scary, but trust me, I said, look, you can see the light down there. And I said, once you get past the scary part, Moses, I said, you're going to see how easy it is, and you're going to really enjoy it, you're going to do it again. He's like, no, I can't do that, I can't do this. So there was only a certain amount of time and space that I gave this like really nice nurturing, and then there's kind of like tough love.
Yeah.
Now I was thinking, if Damien did this to me, if I was on a kamikaze or something like that, I'd be like, I'm not doing it. I'm not I can make my own decisions. You know? So I felt like the bad mother then, if anybody was watching, which they were, and I was like, Moses, get on your knees. I say, on your knees now, put your hands on this. It's going to be fine. He's like, I can't do this. It's going to be fine. And then he's like, I can't do this. I was like, I pushed him. He's like, ah. And then he goes down. And then I'm like this, holy shit. Now I have to do it. I'm like, okay, Thumb, take a breath. The kids are gone out. Okay, Thumb, we're having a little bit of a freak out. Okay, Thumb, you can do this. Okay, Thumb, you know it's only going to be like 2 seconds, like a ride. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Thumb, okay, just keep breathing. And I'm like this, like going through my fear, going, okay, I can do this. And I get my hands down and my knees are down. I'm like this, and I'm starting to push off. And I'm, oh, holy shit. Because I knew once I gone off that ledge, it was gone. Like it was over. I can't go back the ways. Like it's only going forward now, right? And then I was going through like the tunnel part, and I was like, oh my God, it's close. Oh, okay, this is going to be great fun. I'm going to really enjoy this, because they say apparently that your body doesn't know the difference between fear and excitement. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I love this. I'm like so excited. I'm so excited, right? And then so I go down this ride. I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm at the other end, right? And then the funniest thing happened. Talk about like the universe trying to flip my mind. I pulled out the bottoms of my bikini. And then I'm like, down in the ride, and like, I can feel it whipping off my bikini, and like, squeeze my knees so tight together. Okay, see, I'm not going any further. They're not going to pass my knees, not going to pass my knees. Like, oh, holy shit, my arse is there for everyone to see, right?
Oh my
And the
God.
kids are like, wow! And my husband, right? Like, I can't see where I'm going, so the water splashed on my face. Like, who's there? Who can see my ass, you know?
Oh
And
my
then
God.
finally, as I get up, and thankfully it was only my own family that was there because the rest had gone past, right? But anyways, like literally, talk about a roller coaster of emotions, like. And then Moses loved it, and he was running up to go again. And then I gone past it, and I was like, you know what, Thelma? This is how you need to live your life. You're going to book your yoga classes, and you're going to do your course, and you're going to do this. And then when I got the fright again on the airplane, I was like, Jesus Christ, Thelma, you're alive. Something is saving you.
Yeah.
You need to do something with your life and stop worrying about the goddamn fear. So I did that, and I rang around
brilliant,
a few
though.
premises to see
Excellent.
where I can do my yoga class. And so I'm working on the progress of doing this, but feel the fear and do it anyway.
Excellent.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Kira, I'm telling you, you really know you're alive when you're feeling the fear and you're like, you know, it's almost
Stepping
like,
off the precipice.
yeah, it's almost like kind of, you know, there's a big massive waterfall and you're afraid of heights, and the water is like really roaring, you can hear it so loud, and you got these stepping stones to walk past, and some of them like are a bit narrow and a bit bumpy and they're not exactly even, and then you're each step you take, you're like, oh geez, I'm nearly there, oh geez, I've done 3 steps, okay, I've only got 2 steps to go, okay, and breathe. And we really breathe from up here, don't we? Like
Yeah.
we really
Yeah.
lose our
We
whole like
forget.
groundedness of going into
Yeah.
our belly and centering
Completely.
ourselves. Yeah.
And you'll feel the exact same the first time you do your class. In fact, you'll feel the same when you advertise it. You'll feel the same when you get your first call. You'll
When the
feel
first
the
person
same
walks in
when
the
you
door.
exactly, and then when you start your class.
Yeah.
And it's not until the end of that first class, and maybe even the end of the second class, that you'll be like, oh, okay, okay, I can do this. There's people actually here, and they're coming back, and you'll be like, yes, this is okay.
Oh my God, I know. And this was kind of what's sad a bit for me. And I suppose it's to get to know ourselves, like really get to know ourselves and all the stuff that comes up for us. And that's how we really get to know ourselves. So for me, I know even now that the only way for me to accept that I'm good enough, and this is how I feel, but I want to change this in time, is external validation. And we spoke with this before. So it's only by that, you know, that was really good, or really like that and everything else. And that's when then I'm like, okay, I'm good enough. Whereas that's the only thing, is if I can push past the fear and then go and do the yoga courses. And I'm not just saying it's like, I don't think I'm not good enough at yoga. It was the same when I was hairdressing, when I started. When you start off with anything new, there's always that fear, you know. So my next thing then after that would be to find the belief in myself and the knowing in myself that actually, you know, how is it that I felt I did in that class, and if there's anything that I want to improve on, that I want to improve on that for myself, not because somebody else says it.
But you'll do that anyway, because you're great at reflecting. So you'll go home after every class. It'll only take you a class or two to actually sit back and go, right, now I need to be in the process for myself as much as I'm in it for the other people that are coming to the class.
Yeah.
And that'll just make it better.
Yeah. And the other thing that myself and Kira have spoke about before is that, and even my yoga teacher said this, like, don't shit in your own doorstep, excuse the pun, but it's like, I heard this on the radio recently, and people can take this how they want to take it, but I think it kind of proves to be a bit to be true, and it's kind of sad, is that we kind of live in a nation of begrudgers. And so when somebody wants to step up and try something new, we tend to knock them all down. Well, I don't. I really, really, really thrive in somebody trying something new. It just, honestly, I nearly burst with excitement, like it's myself, you know. Well, not like it's myself, because I get
That'll happen.
scared.
That'll happen.
But so I'm actually going to do what you're not recommended to when I'm going to have my first class in Westport, because you see, when you fail in whoever's eyes, right, or if you don't do it to their standard or what their perception is of you or what they think you're going to give, then they're so quick to judge and tell other people, and then people maybe not want to come to you. So you're better to like become or be whoever you are at the beginning, wherever it is, not in your home place, and come back like the expert, like you're really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think that part of that is, it's a really sad failing as humans that we do that. I don't think that happens in other cultures. Maybe it does, but from some like say in Africa and the likes, and places that are, you know, some parts of Africa that are poor and different things, the village lifts them up together. And I think that we need to kind of learn to get a bit more of a sense of community with each other with that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it in Westport because they're going to be my hardest audience.
Yeah. and you'll be 100% yourself.
Yeah.
And that'll be your biggest success.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw myself into the deep end of that in all the fear that it is, because I think, excuse my language, fuck it, why not?
My favorite hashtag at the minute is JFDI.
JF, just fuck.
Just fucking do it.
Oh yeah.
It's good.
And you know something? People say I don't like cursing and it's bad language, but actually they say that fuck it was never a bad word back in the day, that it only kind of transpired or kind of like changed its meaning over time. And so they say it's the Western concept of just throwing caution to the wind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, say, if you're going to jump off a cliff and do like a dive, it's kind of like, oh, fuck it, go on.
Yeah.
And so it's not like negative. In fact, it's really positive. So if anybody hears us cursing, it's not necessarily because we're being derogatory or crude or rude, whatever it's about.
We're being us, and that's it. Hey Joan, how's it going?
Hi.
Sending loads of love and hugs. Yeah, you see, that's something that has been coming up over the last few weeks as well. And for me, I would never, I don't care. You know, if I curse, I curse. If I don't, that's fine. I think that when cursing becomes...
Vulgar? No?
I don't want... Vulgar is not the right word, but we'll use that for now. When it becomes vulgar, or when it becomes the thing that people only do, it's because sometimes people haven't realised that there's so many words in the English language that are beautiful. And that you can express yourself in so many different ways without having to curse. And when you have a great grasp of those words, and I'm not saying you have to be any kind of a person to have a grasp of the English language. I mean, when you really realise that we have so many ways to describe something, that saying a curse is your last port of call. It's the thing that you'd say when you're so excited, you've used all of your other adjectives, you've described everything, and you've gone, I'm fucking delighted! And everything else has been used. And so
I think there's, for me, like that, like what you're saying, but that's in a positive sense, whereas if like, oh, that fucking ass, or that fucking thing, or this fucking thing, or move that fucking thing, like I don't like it in a negative sense. But then we'd be more positive people anyway. But if someone's like, oh, that's fucking brilliant, fucking brilliant,
then
like,
you're like, yeah, I'm there with you.
Yeah, it's not like, for me, right? So I would be a bit like that too. I think, and I'm not trying to justify it, but I think it comes from people who are really passionate. It's, for me, it's like there's nothing more describes it than passion.
Yeah.
It's a passion behind it, and there's no other word that really kind of, gets out there than that word sometimes. You know.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just a word.
Yeah.
It's like anything.
So how do you guys feel when it comes to fear? How do you guys transcend fear or work through fear, or do you try to avoid it?
Do you feel the fear and run, or do you face the fear and rise?
Or do you freeze with fear?
Mm-hmm.
Freeze with fear is very difficult, because I did that in my abuse, and because we have different responses, I didn't know any different. So for me, when you freeze, when I froze, then your body and your body in its different levels, in its psyche, in its energetic level, in its physical level, take on the abuse. I don't mean just sexual abuse, but say it could be abuse of mental abuse, physical abuse.
Any trauma.
Could be, any trauma. Any just hurt.
Hey Tom, how's it going?
Hi Tom. Or if somebody says like, if somebody says like hurtful words or things that don't sit with you well, if you freeze in that moment, your body absorbs it on some plane, and that's when you got to do the work on yourself afterwards. I mean, the work to kind of process what they said and what they did. And I think it's only when you get the tools of how to communicate better and work better through those situations that you don't hold it in your body anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the same with fear.
Yeah. It's good to make a decision when you're in a situation, if you can, wherever possible. And the fact of the matter is, and I think this is really important to know, is it's great to feel the fear and do it anyway, or face the fear and rise. Face everything and rise. But if you're in a situation where you need to walk away from it, and it's a scary situation, but it's a situation that you can't handle, you can walk away, and that's okay. Like, you've made a decision, you've committed to doing something that's better for you, and that's really important in the moment. So never feel like in a moment you have to do something, you have to stand up, you have to do something. Sometimes walking away can be the actual best thing that you can do. There are so many different scenarios that we come up against that you really have to be discerning in. You have to decide what the right thing to do is for you. And that's the most important thing. When you have kids, you're deciding what the right thing to do is for your kids and you. when you're by yourself, you have to decide what the right thing to do is for you.
Yeah.
Nobody else, just yourself.
And also another thing that you had said before is that when you couldn't get out of a situation, you just turned your head.
Mm-hmm.
So you can turn your head, so you're breaking the energetic field, you're breaking that energy, so you're not going to take that on.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can tell yourself in that moment, without saying it out loud, I'm not taking this on. And you can put your mind somewhere else, like whether you're walking on the beach or whatever, and when all this is finished and done, then you can kind of decide to come back, you know, and say, right, okay, you know. And sometimes we have to do that for survival until we actually get to a place where we can actually put our hand up or just say, enough.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
stand
listening.
up.
I'm not listening, you know.
So tell us about the way you deal with fear and what your thing is. You know, if you're confrontational, if you're assertive, if you're argumentative, if you walk away, if you have a steps or a program or something that you follow, we'd love to know, because we always like to learn.
Yeah,
we like to know what
100%.
other people go through too, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something that I find actually very interesting is that we often find out what it is that we want to do when we're advising other people, but we may not do it ourselves.
Mhm.
So that could be advising a friend, it could be advising our children that when they feel fear or they're getting bullied, or if they want to try a new sport or whatever the case it is, or starting to learn how to drive, whatever, it doesn't matter. Going on a date for the first time, you know, or meeting somebody that you really care about, all of those things. Notice yourself always in every given situation. That's how we learn to get to know ourselves and how we learn to grow. So how are you in that situation? And if you could think to yourself, if my child was in this position right now, or if my friend was in this position right now, what would I say to them? And can I take that on board in myself?
Yeah.
I think they're really good lessons to learn.
Very. And a good question to ask might be, who would I be if I wasn't scared? And how would I be if I wasn't scared? And because then you can step outside yourself and you can come at things from the point of view of someone who isn't scared, who doesn't have fear.
Yeah.
So let us know, and thank you very much for watching, and we hope you have a great Tuesday, and feel free to share, comment, whatever you need to do. Tell McGibbons on YouTube and Ciara Heenahan, and I think I can close that. And
We
fear.
might see you again on Friday, and let us know if there's any topics that you'd like us to talk about.
Mwah.
Happy Tuesday!
Take her handy, guys.
Bye!
I don't know how to turn this off now, Thelma.